Hey everybody, it's Hop for Hop's Metal Show.
String.
Randy.
We're gonna do a special day on WASP collection, including all 15 albums. We decided to review all of them. This all started out. It was supposed to be just each of us picked 7 songs from WASP, and that we really liked. Well, I went through the first album, damn near got all 7 of them off that album. So then I figured, well, we got to approach this a different way. So I mentioned it, String, because they had 15 albums out. We decided, since Randy, he's big on the first 5, I give him the first 5. String's more of a Kill Fuck Die fan, so I figured we might as well give him the middle ones, and then I'll take the ones I've never heard. And I pretty much feel like I'm an expert on the last 5 WASP albums. So we're going to go ahead and pick 2 songs off each album that come out, and I'm going to let Randy take it over.
Number 10 for me was a cover off of Electric Circus. I Don't Need No Doctor. This is the re-release with the book featuring Douchebag Blues, which was on that videos in the Raw. So that's 10 for me off of Circus. So I might as well keep it here at 9. 95 Nasty, which I don't even know if they even made a video for that. If they didn't, they should have. So I got that at 9. And let's see, where are we at? 8. Love Machine off the first one. This is the re-release. I bought this when I worked at the record store. Comes with a book. That's what the disc looks like. It's pretty cool. And you get a bonus on which I was playing that. So I got that. Love Machine off the first one. Keep it here. Sleeping in the Fire at 7 off the first one.
That's an awesome song there.
And then 6. I didn't do this. I put Blind in Texas off of that. So
It's almost everybody loves that song.
Yeah,
it's off
that's just the good part.
the second one.
And you had to hear that one live. I mean,
Crimson Idol thing. We got Murders in the New Morgue. Had to put that. Then I go back to this Wild Child at 4. And I don't know where my Headless Cross or Headless Children is. I got Forever Free at 3. So I'll just hold up a diamond there. I don't know. I have it. I know it's over there somewhere. And then, of course, to go back to the first one. Hey, we all want to be somebody. Off the first one. And my personal all-time favorite. Doesn't get any better than that. Fuck Like a Beast. Coming in at number 1. I first heard this back in the day and I laughed hysterically, and I'm laughing now. I mean, look at the art. Got a chainsaw going up a dude's crotch. Plus, you got a cover of Mississippi Queen. I remember back in the day when you had this thing, especially living around here, you were kind of the cream of the crop. I used to have the vinyl, but not anymore. So those are mine.
and you haven't seen anything until you've seen him live. And he's got this grinder on the mic stand, and he had a knife just shooting sparks out. I'm sure in the past when we saw him, it was on the KFD album, and that's what Hop and I got to see, was the knife with just sparks just flying out in the crowd. It was
Mike Stan was
Yeah.
Harley
Yeah, that was
Harley
pretty cool.
handlebars. And that thing was crazy. Remember he like swung out over the
it
crowd.
would, like
Our
it
spring
was on a
loaded.
spring, and it would just rock it back and forth. He would get on, rock his leg over one, and have hold on to it with the other one, and just it was pretty sweet.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was one
That
of
was
the
awesome.
craziest shows I
That
ever
was
saw.
dark.
It was awesome. But
Dark and nasty, but it was very cool.
yeah, 'cause
And
that
front
was,
row for Motorhead,
Yeah.
opening up for Wasp.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Got to see Lemmy front
That's-
row.
When we saw Motorhead at that show, it was kind of like the first time I was thinking about all this Vinnie Paul stuff. The first time I saw Pantera was White Zombie was opening night. He was co-headlining. White Zombie had all this theatrics, horror movie stuff, and Pantera just come out and kick total fucking ass. It was like, that was probably the best. I'd seen Pantera 3 times. hands down the best ever song. They were phenomenal, man. How good they were.
Yeah, I missed that one.
But anyway, I'm straying a little bit.
All right,
So.
yeah, let's get back on subject. All right, I'm just doing 2 songs after each of the 6 through 10 albums. So I'm going to start with Still Not Black Enough. And I had picked Goodbye America and I Can't. I listened to this album revisiting. It's been a while since I listened to a lot of this stuff. So I want to revisit it. First time I listened to it, I wasn't into it. I picked a couple songs off of it, but second playthrough, it got me better. Definitely a lot better the second playthrough. So, Still Not Black Enough.
This one's got that.
Yeah, this.
What's that song? I told
It's
you I
got
really
three cover songs. No,
Ballads, what I like.
liked. Rock and Roll Death,
Yeah.
Death to Rock and Roll. That was not covered.
No, I think that was on this other album. The one that had that like 50s sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on
Oh,
a
I
different
thought that was
album.
on Skip Rock.
I think.
Oh, just so y'all know, Blackie Lawless produced everything, I think, except for the first album. But he produced every album they had out. And, man, it's like I've got a whole new respect for Blackie because, man, his songwriting, I don't know what y'all think, but his songwriting's incredible.
It's definitely a good songwriter. All right, on album number 7, KFD, Kill Fuck Die. A lot of people do not like this album. I love it. Like we mentioned a while ago, Hopper and I got to see, first time I've seen WASP, Hopper and I got to see this tour, which was crazy. Some pretty wild shit went on on that stage.
Remember the pig?
Yeah, the pig, I don't know if you can see there, there's a pig on there. That's what they slaughtered. Poured blood all over himself at the end of the song. It was definitely pretty.
Oh, you know if you can.
I can't even think of a word to describe what that show was, but it was, all in all, it was awesome. Got to see Blackie, front row, and Motorhead, so can't go wrong with
show
that.
on there.
But the 2 I picked off of this one was My Tortured Eyes and Wicked Love. There's a few on this album a lot of people didn't like because it was more industrial sounding. It was very heavy, just dark and just perverted, I guess you could say. I don't know, but that's why a lot of people didn't like it. But I really enjoyed that one album.
What do you think? What did you think? Kill Fuck Die.
Pretty decent.
I didn't. Did you? When you first heard it, what did you think? Did you think it was like? Because you hear a lot of like people say that he went the Marilyn Manson route.
He
You
did.
know,
The way the
you-
Kelly, the look with his makeup.
Is that how you
He
feel?
was trying to keep up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the cover of Double Live Assassins. There he is with that eyeliner that he wore.
Because
So everybody
it's-
knew what he was going after.
It's pretty industrial. I mean, that's,
I'll agree. It's definitely industrial, but it's not overboard industrial. It had that limit,
yeah.
but it wasn't too much. And I think that's why I liked it, because it was more angry and just dark. I don't know. I just really got into that album. Eldorado, album number 8. Definitely going back to the old school WASP sound. Way different from this one. Very good album. Eldorado I picked. Just in your face song. And then Damnation Angels. I really like that song a lot. So that was my 2 off of that one. Rolling in on album number 9, I got Unholy Terror. Open track, Let It Roar. Really like that one. Good song. And Unholy Terror is a separate song from Charisma, but they kind of bleed into each other and they kind of deal with the same thing. And I just counted it as one song, but it's a very good song. Very, the lyrics on that one are really, really good. I like that one. Album number 10, Dying for the World. The 9/11 events, Blackie being from New York really had a lot of heartfelt thoughts for the people that died. So this whole album's kind of dedicated to that. So my 2 off of this one is My Wicked Heart, and then the song basically written for the 9/11 events and the people who died, Hollow Ground. So that was my 10 off of those 5.
and that's the 12th right in the middle, and I'm going to bring up the end. And the stuff I'm bringing up, to be honest, I was telling String, there was stuff that I had to buy stuff and listen to stuff because I'd never even heard, especially the Neon God Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're really good albums. They're a big story. Neon God 1 and 2 were about the orphan kid that his mom couldn't raise him, so she turned him over to an orphanage. He was raised by nuns, ended up in an asylum because he was abused by one of the nuns, and a guy told him how to deceive people. And then on the second album, it's all about him being I guess like a minister or something like that, and all these had this big following of people, and he was a Neon God, this boy named Jonathan, I think. It's kind of like I guess a concept album like the Crimson Idol, but a completely different story. But anyway, for Neon God 1, I went with Asylum Number 9 and Ecstasy Riders. They were both pretty decent songs. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of slower stuff, but they're pretty good to listen to. If you haven't listened to them, you ought to go check them out. I'd definitely sit down and listen to them with no interruptions, though, because they're pretty in-depth albums. And then we're going to go with the second one, which is Neon God 2. It's just a blue cover. The first one's red cover. We picked Never Say Die, which is the opening track, and Come Back to Black. And man, I've told String, man, I listen to these things over and over and over again to try to find stuff. Just there, weaving on down, because these two albums, they probably, I don't know, they have, first album's got 14 songs, second one's only got 9. There's just a lot of music in them too. And then we had Damnation, which is the third one in the 5 series I had. This one I hadn't heard neither. I had to order this one. But there's a song called Heaven's Hung in Black, which have you ever heard that, Randy? I was telling String about it.
I never had that one.
It's a slow song, and it's actually Heaven's Hung in Black is actually a figure of speech from Abraham Lincoln after the Gettysburg War, where there were so many people died that Abraham Lincoln said heaven's hung in black tonight. But he's used as referring to, I guess, the Iraq War, which, soldiers over there and people dying, heaven's hung in black. I went with that, and I went with Deal with the Devil. That was the two I picked off this. This is a pretty good album. This is pretty much just straight ahead WASP. If you like WASP, probably pick this up because it just sounds like WASP, and it's a better album. For an album that nobody talks about, it's worth picking up. Then the next one I got is Babylon, and that one was the one about the 4 horsemen, kind of like the song 4 horsemen, but it's more the religious aspect, and you kind of got to wonder if Blackie's whole religious thing was starting to happen on this album.
I know I had a lot. There were some on these two that there was kind of a lot of religious mentionings, stuff from the Bible. So it was kind of like, at what point, because you listen to this album and there is nothing religious about this album at all, and not so much on this album either, but definitely these two. I noticed in the lyric content there was mentioning of stuff from the Bible and just lyrical content that was just there, and it kind of made me wonder if that was at the point where he was kind of, he become a born again Christian. So I'm kind of thinking maybe he was starting to lean back in a different direction.
Even as far back as Crimson Idol. I mean, because we watched the Blu-ray, and how his mom and dad were like super religious, and he was like that. He was like so rebellious compared to his brother, and the story of Jonathan. But yeah, I picked Babylon's Burning, which is a really good song. And Promised Land, which it gives writing credits to Chuck Berry, but it says but I never heard Elvis Presley done the song
Yeah,
too.
Chuck Berry's the one that did it originally. I read up on that on Wikipedia, but then Elvis did a version of it, and their version is more towards the Elvis version.
And well, I figured it was because he says something about a peanut butter sandwich at the end of the song or something like that. So I was like, well, this is almost. I wonder if this is Elvis Presley. But yeah, that was the cover tune I picked. I went through this. I wasn't in love with everything on this. Them two songs were really good. But that's the, I guess, the 14th album. And the last one is Hard to Believe, number 15. And both these guys in this room will agree with me. This album kicks ass. I mean, for an album this late in their career and be this strong, I guess it's called Golgotha is what I would assume it's called. And it's full fledged. You know, you can tell Blackie's changed. He's become born again Christian. But I mean, I went with Miss You and Golgotha. But honestly, when I put this album in, I had to pull two other songs off that I didn't want to put in, just so I'd have room for others. But yeah, I definitely recommend this, and I'm sure these guys will say the same thing. If you haven't heard Golgotha,
Go buy it.
yeah, go buy it. It's definitely worth the money. And like I said, for it being the 15th album in their career, he's still got it. And yeah, his songwriting's amazing on this one, just like it is all the rest. And they've released what they have, 5 live albums?
Three live albums. They got
Or they're double discs?
one's double disc. Double Assassin Live was double disc. The other two were single discs.
And then that one's live and raw.
Live and Raw, and then Double Live Assassins, and then the Sting.
Yeah. And then there's like a couple greatest hits.
Yeah.
And then there's like a re-idolize of the Idol, which it's not bad, but if you're used to hearing the original Crimson Idol, you're going to be kind of disappointed because they redone the vocals. Everything else sounds the same, but they redone the vocals, and I mean, Blackie's voice is still good, but it goes along them lines that once you're used to hearing the original, that's what you want to hear.
I was kind of disappointed in re-idolize as far as he did change up some lyrics, but I still like the original better.
Now the Blu-ray was cool. That's right there. If you haven't seen the movie To the Story of Jonathan, it's definitely worth watching. I thought that was really good. That was probably worth the wait. I've been wanting. I had a really shitty bootleg of it, but I've got it on Blu-ray now, and it was. I mean, we all watched it down here, and it was really good. But,
And I do want to say, there's 3 cover songs on this album, and I didn't pick a single one of them.
yeah, and I mean, I went.
I
with the
really like cover songs, but I didn't pick it this time.
And which is odd. String didn't, and me and Randy each picked a cover.
Well, and I really like the one out of the 3 that's on here. I liked Somebody to Love the best, and the other 2, if you don't know, was Tie Your Mother Down and A Whole Lot of Rosie. But out of the 3, his vocal style kind of fit Somebody to Love a little bit better than the other 2, and that's why I enjoyed that one more so than the other 2. But yeah, they've done, I don't know how many cover songs. Some are good, some are but
Well, Danny Crider might have some beef. He's been on me about this whole WASP band don't write a bad album. I ain't gonna say they don't write a bad album. None of them that I hate, but there's definitely some that I love more than others. But all in all, I mean, I don't hate listening to this stuff, and I've learned a lot about WASP in this last 3 weeks of the stuff I covered. So, I mean, if you haven't heard the newer stuff and you only own the stuff that Randy has, you should definitely check out the rest of the collection because it's all good. It's all worth checking out.
And Blackie's re-released a lot of the albums that were discontinued, and so you can pick them up on Amazon or wherever you'd like to go. I'm sure you can find them pretty reasonably priced, $10, $12, $13, something like that. So definitely worth picking up.
Except for the Neon God stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's $1.
Yeah.
Did you have Neon God? Did you ever listen to it, Dave?
Never had it.
Because you ought to check it out. But you got anything you want to say about WASP? What's WASP mean to you?
Back in the day, you listened to them, and you called hell for it. Ask Greg Keister. He knows.
What happened to Greg and Wasp, man? I guess that's for a whole new another
We
episode.
got to keep this down to a certain point.
Very controversial and very creative. You throw raw meat out in the crowd and blood, and they wanted to piss people off, and they accomplished it. So, and anybody who's been in the band or out of the band, they're all good musicians. But Blackie held them together. He is the band.
Yeah.
Period. Always liked him.
Shock rock at his best.
Shock rock at his best.
So what's WASP to you?
I was a late bloomer to the WASP thing, so until I kind of started hooking up with you and hanging out with you, kind of you and your entourage hooking me up with a lot of bands I never even had access to before. You know, it was, a whole new ball game for me. So like I said, it was kind of a lot of things getting thrown at me. It was like, man, I never heard that. Hey, this band's cool as shit. Oh shit, this band's cool as hell too. So it really didn't hit me till late, until we really saw them live, is when it really hit me. And just Blackie's awesome live. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we got to see him twice live. Well, I think you saw him one time, and then we saw him another time later, where you and I think me and Jason stayed overnight. I think because I don't think that was the Kill Fuck Die.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. That's the only time I remember. I think I only saw him that once. Was Kill Fuck Die.
Was that on the Kill Fuck Die? I thought we.
I don't know.
I think we saw him on what was probably the El Dorado after that.
Maybe we did. Maybe we did see them on.
I think, and that's when, because Jason and I, it was kind of a funny story. Jason, a friend of ours, we stayed at a hotel, and there was 2 nights back to back that Wasp played at a place called Jack's up in Springfield. So we hung out after the show. Hopper and I think Derek went.
Yeah.
Went with
And that short dude that made me ride in the middle.
Yeah.
Of the Ranger.
So they left. We stayed, and we hung out in the parking lot, and Mike Duda came out, and I think Stead Howland came out too, and but I think that was when Mushroom Head opened up for him that time, and one guitar player for Mushroom Head come out. Somebody brought some beers. I don't remember who it was. They gave us a couple beers, and but it's always funny because Hopper had a hell of a time. Never got to see titties out at shows. As soon as they left, some girl came out and showed everybody her titties. So we had to make sure we told him about that. But anyway, so we hung out, talked to some of the guys in the bands, and we left and went crashed at the hotel. Came back out the next day. We was just killing time waiting for the show the next day. We're driving around, drive by this music store that has guitars and drums and whatnot. So I glance over, Chris Holmes standing outside the guitar store, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking Chris Holmes standing over there. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, you're gonna fucking pull in there, that's what we're gonna do. So we pull in the joint, he parks, we get out, we just go up and just, hey Chris, how's it going? And just started shooting shit with him, and he was talking, just telling us some stories from California, and he ended up, somebody was coming to pick him up, so we didn't get to talk to him very long, but they ended up coming to pick him up. And
what's up, fellas?
Look over there, it's Casey. So anyway, we say bye, and then we tell him we're going to check him out later and go on with our day. But it was just cool as shit driving by. There's some just random music store we drive by that, hey, look, there's Chris Holmes. So, but anyway, that was my little story. But,
Well, I guess Wasp, me, man, I guess the first time I heard them was their debut album. Same one Randy talked, and it was like Love Machine, I Want to Be Somebody, School Days, Into the Fire. I mean, golly, that album just ripped ass. And then you had The Last Command, and it was like, man, they were awesome, man. Yeah, you couldn't go wrong with Wasp back in the day. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We actually have a fellow musician here just walked in. We're going to get ready to shoot another episode. I'll talk to you later. We're out here.
Hey,
That was fun.
my fault.
Yeah. I missed